Hello everyone. Welcome to another stream. Welcome. I'm try to clean my glasses in the meantime as well. How's everyone doing? Welcome to another stream. And let's add camera media name should have something like cover duplicate. Let's add it. Call it cover. For some reason, my settings of my stream have gone a bit on the side. Let's see if I can bring it here. All right, good. This is much better. How's it going, everyone? Hello. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. How is it going? How is everyone? Do you all see the flicker behind there? The light. We can probably try to fix it if it looks very bad. Saad Afzal says, "Sir, make a video on facade pattern." Okay, I think I started the design pattern series quite a long time ago. I've almost forgotten about it. But sure, I can make a note. How's everyone doing? How was your Ramadan, everyone? Let's for the cover, let's actually go to this. How was your Ramadan? We can maybe also add the overlay in this view. Let's see. Did you sleep well during Ramadan? I'm gonna just clean my glasses and then we'll start looking into some vibe coding. I'm just getting a bit set up. Maybe we can fix the the flickering. So you see there's a light flicker right there. You can adjust not really. Let's see. That's bad. That's much nicer. I think this is good. Yeah, I think I can be. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. How's everyone doing? What time is it? I think it's still pretty late in Pakistan. Hasib says, "Good alhamdulillah, and your Ramadan was quite cool at first." In Ulu. What is that? I have no clue what that is. But yes, I think this time for me, even in Sweden, it was not as bad. Or I mean, not in the sense of bad, but it's the duration was not as big. It's 23:05 in Ulu, so it's almost the same time. In Stockholm, it's about 10 p.m. 10:05. Ulu is in Finland. Okay, I didn't know. Okay. Uzair Rehan says 1 in Pakistan. Yes, I know it's quite late, and people would not be awake at this time. Probably in Ramadan, but not now. But we'll try to do some quick sort of vibe coding and see how that goes. We'll also try the Gemini 1.5. Sorry, not 1.5. But the Gemini 2.5 model as well. We'll see how that goes. But we'll not do the streaming for a really long period of time. We'll probably end I don't know, like in an hour or something. So we have a couple of options. I have had some applications that I built in the past. I could start looking into those. Or we could also start looking into preparing for the third video of my Angular Nest.js full stack series. So I think it's up to us. We can, if you want, we can start looking into creating an app from scratch. But I already have so many apps, so I'm usually a bit hesitant on that. But we do have a couple of things that I can share. Maybe let's see if I can manage to show my screen. Give me 1 second. Slides, screen, entire screen, and then it's maybe a window should be better. So if we go here, and where's my camera now? Customize. Is that the right view? I think this should be the right view. There we go. And we can customize this to be like this, not actually like this. We can also put it up here, also scale it a bit, I think, like this, and a bit radius. And maybe I don't need to show my name. Does this look okay? I think it does. If I do maximize this, then it looks something like this. No, we're going to keep it like this for now. I'll show the messages as well as they come. Uzair says, Assalamu alaikum, how are you? How was your Ramadan? Alhamdulillah, it was good. Belated Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak to all of you as well. I hope it was fun for all of you. So what we are going to do is we're going to go to AI Studio, and we're going to try out with I think we can actually go with Gemini 2.0 Flash or Pro actually. I thought the Pro was available now. Let's see if it is. So 2.0 Flash is here. We have the image generation as well. We have some experimentals here. So we have 1.5 series here. Not really interested in that. We got Gemma here as well. Okay, we could look into this, but we'll see how that goes. But let me know what do we want to do. So I have this application called Focusdoro, which is for productivity. So if I can open my mouse here, so here we have an app that helps with productivity, right? So what you do is you can start the timer, and then it would basically go and run until the time ends. Then you could also switch to break, for example, from here. You could also go and focus. You can also log in with Firebase and add tasks. You can also play this as well, or pause or reset. So all of this is available in this application. So it's built with Angular so far. And you can create tasks right here. Like you could say vibe coding, and then you can say estimated Pomodoro. So it could be 1, 2, 3 Pomodoros, and each Pomodoro is 25 minutes. So if you have two Pomodoros, that means you have 25 minutes of working, then you have 5 minutes of break, then you have 25 minutes of working and whatnot. So that is what we could actually start looking into, and maybe enhancing a couple of things, because this application right now doesn't really allow you to change or have customizations or decide like how long of a Pomodoro you would have. It just is 25 minutes at the moment. So we could actually start looking into that. Let me see if I can open my editor. And okay, all of my apps are now open. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to find my project. Focusdoro. No, I don't see it. Let's see. I'm gonna close this. Close this. Pet market assets. I opened with regards to my project. Give me 1 second. By the way, has anyone of you tried the Warp terminal for Windows, or not yet? Maybe. I'm gonna share my screen instead. Give me 1 second. Share. Stop screen sharing. Share entire screen. Here. Uzair says I completed your React course 2 months ago. Awesome. How how do you feel about it? Was it good? Did you learn a lot? And what are you doing right now? Are you applying for jobs, or have you already gotten a job, or what's the status? Let's zoom in a bit. So we have this here. Let's go with focus. We don't have Focusdoro here. Why is that? CD YouTube Focusdoro. No, that's not there. It should actually be inside here. So Angular Cookbook, courses, CWA workshops, Gemini, ba 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 ba. I don't see it, so we have to clone it then. Let's see. What do I not have had in here? Repositories. Do I have it here? Yeah, I have it here actually. Let's copy this. I think we can actually move this to my, but let's not do that at the moment. We'll do it later. So here we can go ahead and say git clone, and then we can add like this. Cursor Focusdoro. Let's quickly open that. We could also should I dare to use NeoVim or no? CD Focusdoro and Vim. What happened? Warp. I mean Warp seems to be okay, but it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. So let's see if I can go and start with, was it F10, F9? No. Let's do this again. It has been some time since I actually used it. But my configuration is not being opened, that's for sure. Okay, let's not do that then. Shazib Zain, yo, Eid Mubarak to you as well. How's it going? Let's open it here. No, so that's not the one. Focusdoro. Let's open that. Oh, we can open it here. Uzair says it was great, especially the testing part, and the unique thing about your course was it was in TypeScript. Yeah, absolutely. I think it was because I remember how long it took for me to work with the React course, and I think it was worth the effort, so to say. So if I go Udemy Practical React Essentials, I think if I just go from the shortcut, that's probably faster. So let's see. I'm gonna also show you here. So we've gotten 22 ratings out of 213 students. I hope, Uzair, you have given a rating. If not, do that as soon as possible. But yeah, it took a lot of time to build that course. So we had a bunch of things here. We had the setup with Tailwind CSS, GitHub Actions actually. So doing a continuous delivery, continuous integration, so to say. We went through React fundamentals. We talked about state management in React, so all the things related to prop drilling, context API, creating custom hooks, like what is Redux, using the Redux toolkit as well. Um, and then we, where are you? So React router, then nested routes, blah blah blah, a lot of things, and then the testing. I think this was the most interesting part because I get most confused with the testing, because every time I do write tests, it feels like I'm doing it for the first time. I don't know why, but yeah, I think once you get it right with VTest, you understand. And this is VTest, which is basically one of the most modern ways of working with testing. So instead of just, you're using VTest because React, Create React app previously used Webpack, but now you can create a React application with Vite, which is usually the preferred way of doing this, unless you're using Next.js, of course. But then if you're using Vite, then you can use VTest to write unit tests as well. But we also write the end-to-end test with Playwright, which is one of the best frameworks today to work with React tests. And then you end up building a whole pizza restaurant application, as they say, which is super super interesting. So this is the application that you end up creating. So you have like the order ID that you can try to find your order with. You have a bunch of items that you can add to cart, go to checkout, all of those things. Super nice. So how many hours is it? It's like 14.5 hours. So almost 15 hours. 75 downloadable resources, blah blah blah. So if you haven't looked into, you can actually look into it. But this is in Urdu, so you may not find it in your language, of course. So I'm gonna share the link in the chat. Those of you who want, you can essentially follow this as well. So this is codewithsn.dev/pre, which is practical React essentials, and it directly takes you here as well. And I mean, on Udemy, I have the possibility to create coupons as well. So if anyone is interested, just reach out. Uzair says, I'm currently doing a junior full stack developer job here in Gulshan-e-Hadid. Ui, nice. Which phase? Is it phase one, phase two? Are there companies in Gulshan-e-Hadid as well? And we got Abdul Rahman Ujjan. How's it going? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Said you were on Teachable. Aha. Okay, but I moved to Udemy. Is Cypress dead? Not yet, to be honest. Cypress can still be used, but I think Playwright supports much more browsers, so it's easier to work with, especially with Firefox, Edge, etc. So I usually prefer Playwright nowadays. Alrighty, so let's get started. We're gonna quickly start with installing the packages, and I may want to also go to the Firebase console because I think the rules might have been dead for Focusdoro, if I am right. It could be that it's actually dead. Uh, it's super interesting. Who is actually using this application? I don't know anyone actually who uses it, but maybe I'm gonna try to blur the screen for a while just to see how many users we have on Focusdoro, because this is weird. Because I did not expect anyone to use Focusdoro. Oh, we do have people. We have 24 users. Interesting. Interesting. I'm gonna remove it. Alrighty, so let's see if I can go back. So let's see, cursor, and there we go. And let's go back to the demo. Uzair says phase 2. Okay. Okay, I used to live in phase 1 when I was there in Gulshan Hadid. All right, I'll let this work. In the meantime, let's quickly configure the our setup for vibe coding, so to say. So let's do it like this. If you want to start working with vibe coding with Google Gemini, what you can do is you can go to aistudio.google.com, and then you can go to this button, or you click this button, get API key. And then what you do here is you essentially can pick a particular model, or you can create an API key here. Once you do so, it's going to ask you which project do you want to pick. So you need to create a project if you don't have existing, or you pick one from the list, right? Once you do so, it's going to create an API key for you, and then you just copy that key. So that's one of the things that you need to do. Then what you need to do is you can go to your editor. It could be VS Code, it could be Cursor. It's up to you which one you use. But you have to install an extension. And that's what I would recommend to use. And that is you use an extension called Klein. How many of you already are using Klein? Is anyone using Klein in the chat? So here you can see that it is autonomous coding agent right in your IDE, etc. So you install this, and we are going to set it up for Cursor. I already have that set up for the VS Code instance, but not in Cursor. So I'm going to set it. Abhijit Anand says, "How is the vibe coding going on?" We've just started. I mean, for me, it's really, it's cool. I mean, it's not something that can get the job done all the time for me. So it's sometimes it's work, sometimes not really how I want it to work, and then I have to go and change all of this. Sometimes it's just, I mean, the output is stupid, to be completely blunt. So I would say still it makes things faster. The things that I could ship, I don't know, in months can be done in days for me, and that's actually really nice. Abhijit says, "Do you really think AI is going to out career? I'm extremely worried about it." I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, the things are getting better very fast, but I think as developers we would need to adapt to things instead of being scared of it. So you would have to try out these tools, because the truth is that they do make things go faster. They do help in coding faster as well. Now when it comes to code quality, not always that's desired, or you need to draw the line on where you would stop with the code quality and you would start focusing on shipping features, and that's really really important. So one of the things that you would have to understand as well is in many of the cases as well, you would see that the companies are working on MVPs. They're working on the minimal viable product. They are trying to ship something, and then they're trying to get basically what do you call it, the investments. So if you don't have something to show, you don't get investment, and when you're essentially in that particular phase, you don't really care much about the quality of the code. You essentially just want to ship things fast. And once you get past that phase, then you can focus on the quality of the code, etc. And with the AI, that's actually becoming really easy. And I think a lot of companies, that's why they're trying to go with the vibe coding sort of situation to get things done faster. It's not 100% desirable all the time, as I mentioned. But we are going to look at some of the things today. We'll see how that goes then. So now that we have Klein done, what I actually want to see is actually in my package JSON. And these are the things that Klein won't do for me. I would have to do it myself. I would have to look into a lot of these things myself as well. So here you can see I'm actually on a very old version of Angular. It's like 14. So we need to update. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do nx and let's say update. No, what's it called? npx nx migrate latest, if I remember correctly. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . .
My playlist says, I think the other job sectors will be affected, such as data encoding stuff. Yeah, a lot of things would be affected. Like, I think content writing is being affected quite a lot. A lot when it comes to, even as I said, even building the MVPs or minimum viable products or small applications, they're being affected. But to what extent is the question. So one of the things that you would have to realize is, for example, you could have, let's say, 1,000 people believing in vibe coding, and they all want to say, all right, build the products for us. They all go and they all want to hire someone who knows AI and then ships things faster, and that means that the job market is affected because all of those people now want someone with AI experience or someone who can work with these tools like Lovable, we have Bolt, we have Cursor, we have V0, all of these things. So that means the job market is affected already. That means that once you ship these products, now what happens after it is the question. A lot of these people who would have built their products and have no clue of what the code is doing, that's not going to be case all the time. There would be people who are senior who already know how to code, who would still use these tools and would understand how things work, and they are able to go inside and change the project according to how it should work. Or if there comes a bug, they are able to fix it themselves. Or if they want to enhance the feature set, add more stuff to it, they can do it. For example, myself, I've been coding for more than 11 years now. And even if I use AI or vibe coding, I am able to actually read the code, understand the code, navigate through the code, debug the code, and also fix things myself as well. So but if you have people who have no clue what they're doing and they rely completely on AI to do stuff, then those products will suffer. And you might have seen that actually in a lot of thing or a lot of tweets as well on Twitter, um, by people actually claiming that they built something and then people were able to hack their products. They were able to just create random stuff on the database, and it's costing them a lot of money because there were no securities, no sort of what do you call it, no rate limiting. So it's prone to DDoS attacks as well. So a lot of those things are essentially, yeah, risky, so to say. So one has to know what they're actually working through. Would you like remote caching? No. What is the project that we are working today? We are looking into just enhancing one sim or maybe one or two features of a project that I created before. It's called Focusdoro, which is essentially an application for Pomodoro. So I have for example here, I went ahead and bought a physical clock here, which allows me to have like 30 minutes or something, and I can press the timer and I can focus on this particular clock, or be notified when 30 minutes are over or 25 minutes are over. But if you don't really want to have a physical clock, you could go ahead and you can look into this thing here, which essentially does the same thing. So you start your timer, you can reset your timer, you can do focus or break, and you can add tasks. So you can decide like how many cycles of Pomodoro would you go with. And we're going to add some features here. We're going to configure what is the Pomodoro interval and what is the break interval, so to say. And we're going to do that using Google Gemini. So that's the plan for today. All right. So before that, we are actually updating to the latest version of NX. So we have Angular 19. Right now, we are actually at Angular 14, and I'm really excited and scared at the same time to see how this works, because when I'm working with Angular, I essentially do migration one step at a time. So I go with, it's called Focusdoro.app. I can share the link in the chat. But essentially, when I migrate Angular projects, I do one major version at a time. So I go with, let's say, 14 to 15, 15 to 16, 16 to 17. But here with NX, it seems like when I said migrate to latest, it just says, yeah, I'm going to migrate to latest. And I'm really interested in seeing how this works out. So first of all, let's go to package.json and see if everything is as expected here. So make sure the package.json changes sense and run yarn. Okay. So if I look into the package.json at the moment, it should be here. So 3 years ago, Angular is still, it says 3. What did it change then? Let me have a quick look. So it said migrations, remove root, beta, CLI version, this and that. I think it doesn't actually migrate to the right thing. Let me see what it said before. So it fetched all of this, then it says updated. Package JSON has been updated. Okay. I don't think that's actually right, to be honest. Let's see. At Angular slash or Angular. So there's nothing in the migrations that works with Angular. It just updates the NX stuff. Okay, let's try this actually. Yarn. No, yarn. Let's try this and we'll see how this goes. Already? Already up to date. Good. So the package JSON didn't really get affected at all. Migrate. I'm going to try to run this again and see if there's anything that NX thinks it should do. And I'm going to bring my, I'm going to warm the coffee as well in the meantime. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. All right, so let's see. Skip for now. Now it still says package JSON has been updated, but not really. Let's. I think we would have to Google a bit. So let's see. NX migrate Angular from 14 to 19. All right, so this might be interesting. Get on your knees and pray when you need to do like this. You could be like, sorry, my camera died. I'm gonna replace it. You can run NX migrate dependency at version to get specific migration. Okay, interesting. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. There we go. All right, so maybe we can look into this. Let's try with that. So I'm gonna go here and let's try npx ns migrate Angular core at 15. So let's start with that. Usually when we are migrating Angular projects, we usually go with two things. We go with the core and we also go with the CLI. So we're going to look into both of them. Okay, now we have packages and changes. See, so from 14.0.4 we have 15.2.9, and I think we should also have core animations common, all of those here. So Angular Fire has not been updated here, but we'll update that as well. So similarly NGRXFX as well. um, uh, 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 we'll see, but we should have like compile. Okay, so CLI is here as well. Angular CLI has not been, so I'm gonna also say CLI at 15. Migration is not usually easy. I'm not really sure. Maybe we can focus on the code after we have done this migration. Instead of focusing on the migration, we can look into vibe coding instead. Because I think the migration could take a lot of time. We'll still upgrade to at least version 15. And let's also do this as well. So here we should have this at 15, effects at 15, and store dev tools. Let's see what this says. Okay, so it also gets the other ones as well. Good. That's not too bad. We're gonna try this now. So let's have a look at package.json. We're gonna go ahead and say yarn, and then we're going to install it. We're going to run it and see if everything works. And if it does, then we'll just switch to the coding part of it. Oh, one more thing that I recalled just now that I needed to change was the usage of or the rules, so to say. We're gonna quickly take help from Gemini to say, how can I help you with Firebase, blah blah blah. Let's see. Help me update the rules for Firestore from the following to say that only authenticated users can access the documents. Okay, so I'm gonna paste it like this, and let's see what it says. I can't provide rules that allow public access to data. Okay. Can you share Firestore rules to allow only authenticated calls? That's not really helpful. Let's do it like this. So we copy this. We go to API key, or actually create a prompt. We ask it, these are my, let's edit it here, Firebase rules, change them to allow access to documents only when the user is authenticated. And this is using the 2.5 Pro experimental, so we can also see the thoughts here as well. So essentially, this is the line where we are providing Cloud Firestore and saying allow the read only. So allow read to always and write if the request auth not equals to null, right? So read and write access only. Sorry, allow read and write if the request auth is not equals to null. So it's both for read and write. So we're going to copy this and we're going to go to our Firestore, and here we're going to update the rules. So let's change that. Let's update that and now publish this. Okay, so it's going to take a minute to propagate this, but that's fine. Because right now, if I try to log in, I don't think it would fetch the data for me. You're going to see. So it, okay, now it fetches it. Previously it was not. So the rules have been updated now. Good, awesome. That's one of the things. Now we can look into the app itself. All right, so this is installed. Now if we do npx nx migrate run migrations, so it's going to now run the migrations necessary for what we did before. But again, as I said, we're not going to run all the migrations at the moment. We're going to just run a few. But how long have sorry, how many of you have worked with Angular before, or what framework do you work with? Do you work with React, Vue, something else? Alrighty, so we did run some migrations. We don't have anything specific or special at the moment. So if I go and say yarn dev, we can't run it. Npx nx serve Focusdoro, if that's the name of the application. So if I go to app, yeah, it's gonna serve it. Let's see if this still works. It doesn't. So cannot find module AJV formats. Where is this coming from? It's Angular dev kit. Okay, let's try to find it. So we have built Angular ESLint plugin. Okay, so let's in that case, let's not do this. So I'm gonna revert the changes because I think that's not the point. So let's do a yarn quickly. Because I know it could take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours if we really want to migrate and check and debug. Let's see. Imad Arif says, I worked with Vue 2 and React mostly. Did you work with Vuetify or Nuxt at all? npx nx serve Focusdoro. All right, we are actually working with some with a version of Angular that may not be as fast as we have today, because I think that even the incremental builds may not be here. I'm not really sure if it was introduced in 15 or 16. I can't remember. I think it was probably 16. Let's see what happened. Cannot find more. Okay, let's do this. RM RF node modules. Let's double check there's no changes in the yarn thingy, and then we can take it from there. We are also going to include the API key as well from Google Gemini. So let's actually do this. I'm gonna create an API key, and I think we can get rid of this. I'm gonna create an API key, and I'm gonna also stop sharing my screen for a while. Give me 1 second. So we go with the multiversity, get an API key, and copy this. So I've copied the key. All right, so there we go. So I've created a new key, as you can see here, April 3 to 2025. You can just copy it from here. Then you go to your cursor. I'm just gonna run yarn here. Then you do Control Shift P, client, and I think there's a new tab, open in new tab. It should look something like this. And then here you can see get started for free or use your own API key. So here we'll say use your own API key. Then we are going to go here in client, and you can put here Google Gemini, and here you can paste the API key. So just making sure that I don't show that. And here, when we say let's go, it's going to try out with the, you can now essentially pick your model from here. What I really like about client itself is that you have two different modes. You have the plan here, and then you have act as well. When you do plan, it doesn't really change the file. It shows you first what is the plan, and then you can switch to the act mode, and then you can go from there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually choose the 2.5 Pro experimental model, since it's free at the moment. You can also try the Flash Lite as well, Pro experimental here as well, which is a there should be a thinking model as well. So Flash thinking. So we have the Flash thinking here as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Pro experimental one. And then we are going to take it from there. So we do have things set up here nicely. We're just going to wait for this to stop, and then we can continue from there. My playlist says I used to work on Angular version 8 and then stopped because I need to focus on backend stuff on .NET. Now I'm trying to go over with their new version of Angular 19 plus. Nice. Nice, very good. Emma says yes, I've used Nuxt as well. Nice, awesome. I've not worked with Vue.js before. I think I looked into it once, maybe when Vue was really new, but I never got the chance to work on a project with Vue.js. I worked with React, and I worked with Knockout.js, Backbone.js. That's like old school JavaScript frameworks, and then Angular.js, of course, but never Vue. I even worked with Svelte for a while as well. I remember working on Svelte for, I think, an internal project as well before. By the way, can we try one thing actually? What was the restream bot desktop? What was it called? Buddy? No? Restream bot. We did have some projects, right? Restream Buddy desktop. So we have this one from February 2020, right? And I think this was the one that we built with Electron, isn't it? Build, no, not this one. We would have out desktop, and we had Restream buddy desktop. Do you remember us working on this app? Do you hear the sound? Okay. Can you all hear the sound? And there we go. So let's quickly open this in localhost. And I don't think we should be running in emulator, but anyways, I think that's fine. Okay, so this is running in localhost. Now we can start doing the vibe stuff. And I'm gonna try something in the chat. So if I do overlay here, and if I do something like TRR, let's see if my software picks it up and plays the automatic sound. Oi, let's go. It does it, right? I don't know. I think you don't really hear it. Can you still hear me? Now you should be able to hear. Now if I type something like this, hey, you hear it now. So I did not have it on since we started the application. That's sad. Anyways, let's go into the vibe coding. So here, what I want to do is, when you're working with anything related to vibe coding or AI, the best thing that you can do is to provide all the context that you can give it when you're trying to ask it something. So I'm gonna actually open this here, open this towards the other side. Not gonna share anything. Sorry. And then what I'll do is, so we do have, sorry, we do have our home component, and inside here we should have a header component as well. So header component is here, right? I think we need to implement a new page where we can set up the possibility of setting a time for Pomodoro, and we can also set up what do you call the log group. So we can set the time that it takes for the Pomodoro cycle and also for the break as well. So I think that's what we want to do. So we're gonna go into the plan mode here. Let me know if you can't really see it. I'm gonna try to zoom in a bit. I don't want to zoom in too much so I can't even see it. So here, let's go with saying something like, I want to implement a settings page where we can give, or we can provide, or where we can set up the time for both the focus time and break time for Pomodoros. There should be a link with settings icon in the header that takes us to that particular page. Okay. Now, one of the things that you would also need to see is that when it doesn't support computer use, that means that you cannot really ask it to run commands or something like that. I mean, it could probably run commands as well, but it won't be able to run a browser, etc. If I go with the Flash one, here you have free up to 15 requests per minute. After that, the billing depends on the prompt size. Good, that makes sense. Then we have Flashlight 2.0 Pro, and then we have Thinking Experimental as well. Like all of these models are here. But we're gonna go with 2.5. So here we have free up to 2 requests per minute. After that, the billing depends on the prompt size. I think that's still okay, but we can see the pricing details here as well. So we have 2.5. That's 1.5 Pro. Learn more. So in here, the experimental where we have 325 here, these are all the stats for it. And look at the pricing. We'll also introduce the pricing in the coming weeks. Okay. All right. Without actually going into too much into all of this, let's actually try it. Not this one. This one. Alrighty. So we go inside here and then we say that takes us to the particular page. The settings. We are also asking it to save the settings in the Firestore so we don't lose those settings, right? Should be stored in Firestore as well. So the user can always access the settings from different devices, right? So let's do that. Now we're gonna send it and see what happens. One of the things that I also like about Client is it also tells you what is going to be the cost of these calls as well. And maybe you don't really see it here, but let's remove the overlay. So in here, you can see a couple of things. I'm gonna share this in 1 second. So in here, you see that it has my task here. You can obviously see the details here as well. But what's interesting is it shows you the context window. So it Gemini 2.5 Pro experimental essentially has a 1 million tokens context window. So we haven't even used, like, you can see how much we have used so far. So it shows you the response, what we have sent so far, and then also the cost in a lot of cases as well. But since in here we don't really have a cost, I think it can't really calculate it at the moment. But in here, it has analyzed, like, these are the files: routing, home routing module, selectors in the auth, because it's going to also see the information there. So it analyzed the existing code. Then it went to propose the implementation step. So it says it will create a new setting module and a settings component. Then it will add the route for it. Makes sense. Then it will update the header component to include the link. That also makes sense. Then it will design the settings component, UI, HTML, and TS using Angular forms, create or update service to handle Firestore operations for settings, rewrite user specific settings. Okay. Integrate the settings, fetching and saving the component potentially in the NGRX store. Makes sense. Modify the clock component for relevant service logic to use the stored settings. Great. I did not give this instruction to Gemini to use the clock or to use this setting in the clock component. I only asked it to allow us to modify or have a setting. I did not ask about adding or using that setting right away, but it can analyze it and it makes sense of the code by analyzing it. So I think this is like a cherry on top. So I really like this. Now clarify details. Ask any necessary clarifying question. I default value specific icon. Let's start by reading the files mentioned in step 1. I'll begin with the main app routing module. Okay, so now it's going to ask about reading the files, right? All these files. So it only looked at the names, I think, and now it's going to read the files as well. Now, one of the things that you could do is you can approve or reject here, or you could say auto approve. And this feature I really like quite a lot. So when it comes to reading files, I think I can always go and say auto approve. So it can read files, but when it comes to editing files, I don't really like without my approval. So I could say edit files, but sometimes I'm like, no, not really. And yeah, all of this. So, and you can also define how many requests you are saying auto approve, which means that if it reads 20 files and asks 20 times, then that's approved. But after 20, it will ask me again. And that's what I want. So here, we could also change this to like 10 or 15, so to say, and we can say auto approve. Now I'm going to approve it, and I'll also enable auto approve as well. So now you can see it read this particular file, but then immediately it went to another file. And now it's reading because I've auto approved it. So it's now reading all of the files that we mentioned. And again, for those of you who just joined, we are using Google Gemini 2.5 Pro experimental, which seems to be really good for coding, at least what people say. So we are trying it out, and we are going to implement a whole new feature with it, and we're going to see how much time it takes. So it's also reading the constants as well. Good. All right. I'm interested in this one. Okay, the clock component currently gets the type of duration from hard-coded constants, focus and break. They are likely defined in this. Okay. Inside the messaging time, clock focus, and then we have else, this message break. Then we have this type is okay, hard-coded is constant. I don't know why we have the same code for two different conditions. I don't know. But yeah, maybe it's right. This seems redundant. Who knows what I wrote 3 years ago? Haha. So it has analyzed all the related parts, and now this is the overall approach. So for doing all of this, it has gone to about 25,000 tokens, or has used it in the context window. It's still like way far from 1 million tokens. So I still like it. So we'll create the dedicated settings page. This will be the route, makes sense. Then it's also going to create a Firestore collection named settings. Good. Then it's also going to use ngrx, and it's going to use the settings in the clock component, makes sense. So this is the whole plan: creating a new settings module, creating a settings component. Then it's going to run these commands: nx module settings, project Focusdoro, routing. Good. Then it's going to create the component here. Then it's going to configure the routing using the lazy loaded route. Good. Then it's going to update the header component, makes sense. Defining the setting interface. Good. Okay, so it's going to define it here. Create the setting service. So it's going to add the setting service, and this will interact with Firestore, makes sense. It will provide the methods like get user settings, save user settings, makes sense. Enhance the ngrx auth state. Okay, what is it updating in the auth? To store the user object using the UID. Aha, okay. So maybe we are not doing that at the moment. Add the selector select user ID to get it from the selectors, makes sense. Then generate the ngrx state artifacts action reducer for managing settings, makes sense. Then select break duration, implement settings component logic, store and form builder. Okay, so this is the whole settings component, and then updating the clock component, injecting the store, selecting the focus duration and break duration, and then setting it. Good. Okay. There we go. Okay, so it shows the plan again. Now it has a question, it seems like. What do you think of this plan? Please let me know what icon preference for the header link, font awesome, material icon, or just text. Or once you're happy with the plan, please ask me to toggle to act mode so I can start implementing it. Which one do we want? I don't know which. Are we using material so far? No, we're not. Are we using any icons? Are we using any icons here? We are using font awesome at the moment, right? So we are using font awesome. So we are still in the plan mode, by the way, for those of you who don't know. Imad says, I started a career with Ionic 1 and Angular 1 and then moved to Vue after seeing the drastic change in Angular 2. Good. I also started my career with Ionic, not Ionic, but Angular 1.x. All right, so now that everything is said, we have already said that use the font awesome icons. We can go ahead and say act mode. So let's see how this goes. All right, so now it wants to run this command, both of them, right? So I'm gonna open the terminal just to show you that when we run this command, it essentially opens a new tab instead of the one that we are already on, and then runs it there. So if I run this, let's see if this is able to do it. So it gives the project Focusdoro and says create a settings module. If I go inside here, you're gonna see here we got the settings module right now created, right? So settings, routing module, settings module here. Which generator would you like to use? We're gonna use a Narwhal Angular component. And now we have the settings component here as well. So see how quickly it just creates all of those. Now it updated the routing module as well, right? And now it added the setting path here as well. Good. Now it says Clients wants to edit this file. So it has edited this file now, and it asks me if I should save it. So as I said, I've given it the read access and I've said auto approve, but not write. So it can suggest the changes, but I have to approve it. So I can hit save, and now the file is saved now. All right, now it's going to read the header component, and I've asked it to auto approve it. So now it changes and adds the link here as well. Now, one thing that I want you to notice, please, especially if you are a junior developer, is that in no point of this vibe coding, I'm completely relying on the AI. I'm checking each step that it is doing. So I'm allowing it to do things faster, but I'm not allowing it to, or I'm not going and making a coffee while it does all the things on auto approve. That's not the idea. So I'm at least trying to review all the code as much as I can. So in here, we are getting things from, I'm hoping, Angular Firestore. Good. So this is important. Do not get it from Firestore directly, but Angular Firestore. Good. Then we have the get user settings. So it tries to get it from there. Then it checks if the snapshot exists. And then if we have the data, we get the data and then we return it. Good. The save user settings saves that and sets the merge to true. Good. I'm going to save this. How do you find the vibe coding that we are doing so far? Do you think it's good? Does it make sense? Now let's save this file as well. And now we are enhancing the auth selector as well, or the auth side of state or store as well, to make things easier. So now it's gonna run this. Now it says it's gonna add an NGRX store for call settings. It's going to say the module is going to be apps Focusdoro app modules. It's going to add the store there, and then the facade is false and barrels as well. Okay, let's try to run this and see what happens. Is this the root state of the application? No, it's not. So it failed with the project is not found in the schema. So it could not actually make it work. But did it get the error or no? I'm not really sure. So the state is here, but it did not get the right request. So I'm gonna actually tell it, because something failed in the middle and it created this app state settings action. I don't think that makes sense. So we'll say something like this. So for the most recent command of generating NGRX store, it failed with this, and I'll also tell it that we have the store defined in the store folder. You can see examples there. We should also have defined inside the store folder. Okay, so we tell it that. And one more thing to clarify is that even though it has like a 1 million token, that is what for one single task. So for one single for one single task, you have all of this space for working. So let's see what this says now. My apologies for the incorrect command and file path. Thank you for pointing it out. Good. I will now manually create the NGRX file for the settings state with the correct directory structure. So settings.actions are here inside the new settings directory within the store. So it's going inside app store setting actions. Okay, here, that makes sense. But I have to delete this thing that it created. No, not this, but there was a folder. It deleted it, I think, already. Good. Okay, not too bad. So now it's generating the reducer. It's also generating the actions as well. Good. And then I'm gonna save it. Now it's generating the selectors as well. Good. Let's save this as well. My playlist says this is how things work currently on some companies where they rely on AI codes while they keep hiring devs as a tester and do DevOps workload. Exactly, yes. That's where the trend is going. You're absolutely right. All right, so here we have the create effect that's coming in, but then it's not trying to use actions.pipe. The pipe does not exist on type actions. I'm going to try to save this file, but I'm interested in Gemini figuring it out if it can see the error which is here and then fix it automatically. So we'll see. So let's save this at least. I want it to at least see the error. And I'm going to see if this skips it or sees the error and then fixes it. All right, so here you can see the types error indicator types mismatch. Good. Good, good, good. So we did add settings here and then settings here as well. Now it makes sense. So I'm going to save this file and settings effect. That doesn't fix it still. Now it's going to update the effects. Oh, let's look at that. I don't know. I didn't change anything, but it says I changed anything. Let's see if it fixes it. All right, so it got the app state here. Still, we have the pipe error. Let's see if it can fix it. I'm going to get some water in the meantime. Give me 1 second. Alrighty. So where are we? Have we fixed the pipe error? Not yet. Let's save this file. Let's see if it fixes it again. Okay. I don't think that would fix it, to be honest. I think it's going in circles actually. Maybe not. Let's have a look at effects here. So we do this dot actions. The actions come from here where we have actions. What is the type of actions here? So we do have actions here, right? The actions are imported from NGRX effects. Okay. Okay. The effects uses slightly different import style of RxJS operators and doesn't show an example of injecting store. However, the core issue seems to be how the pipe method is being recognized. Let's try rewriting setting effects. Okay, so it's looking into auth effects and it's trying to look into this. If I open this, is it still okay? So the pipe issue is here as well, right? Okay, so it's not, then that's not the issue. Okay. Okay, let's actually go to NGRX NGRX FX. I want to be able to pick. Wait, I want to be able to pick the version 14. I think I was on version 14, right? Let's see. Let's have a look at package.json. So here we have 14, right? So let's see. So I go back here to 14. Then I go with state, and then I go effect, and then overview, where we should have this. So we have movie service, blah, blah, blah. Give me effects. Yeah. So here, so here, this is the one. So, but we have actions. Wait, go back. Go back. So here we have actions, right? Then we say create effect. This dot actions dot pipe of type, and then we do it like this. Okay, and this is ejectable as well. It seems to me that this is okay, but the pipe that doesn't work here, this doesn't make sense. Could it be because we don't have the right, could it be because we don't have the right package? This one is 14.0.1. If we have a look at the documentation here, 14.3.3. Okay, should we update then? So from 14.0.1, I want to update to NGRX schematics. I want to update to 14.3.3 at least. So let's update that. Okay, let's quickly go to code here. I'm going to open it. npx nx migrate ngrx effects at 14 point, what was it? 3.3. Then ngrx / store at 14.3.3 at ngrx store devtools 14.3.3, and then there was one more thing, ngrx schematics to 14.3.3. Let's see. And this is just speculations, because this right here should work out of the box, but it doesn't, which means that we're missing something. All right, so let's have a look at the package JSON, if what changed. So that's what changed. Good. And now we run npx nx npx nx migrate migrations. I think it would say clean the repository, I think. Well, let's see. Okay, it doesn't. Good. I hope. What are the migrations it's running? Did it not run the migrations before? Interesting. Okay, I want to see some migrations. Let's see. So let's see if the errors go away or no. Is it casting now to any? That doesn't make sense. No, if it does it like this, I don't think that's the right way to do it. But we're going to fix it. Let's see how Gemini solves it first. And let's also see if our application works still. It seems to be okay. So we're going with the approach to take, let's make it work, and then make it pretty. So we're going to make this work, see if everything looks nice, and then we are going to make it pretty or optimize the code. Why does it say it's selected loading? Okay, so it does set. Okay. I don't like it, to be honest. What is this? It made a mistake. Okay, so it's going to probably fix it. Yeah, this was the issue. So let's save this. At least no issues here, but we'll see. And now we are going towards the HTML form. Because I don't want to spend too much time optimizing, I want to see how this looks first. All right, so we got some code here. Let's move forward. So we've got in the settings component, we have gotten, we have already sent about 1.4 million tokens. The context window is about 68.8K. That's not too bad. Okay. Now here we have the same issue, so it's going to probably fix it as well. I don't think this is the right way to do it. For example, here we do select this store.select, not this store.pipe.select. So this doesn't really make sense to me, but I'm gonna actually choose something else. But here, let's change it. I think that's incorrect. See the header component. Wait. And the auth ready code. We just do, here we have this .store.select. Select directly. Let's see if it can figure it out. So you see here, we also try to use like cloud component pipe select as well, but that's not the right way. Now you can see that this .store.select directly works. So we did not even need to do all of this, to be honest. So let's save this. And I think we would also ask it to, okay, so the cloud component has been fixed in that case. But I think I'll also ask it to update the settings component as well. Or maybe let's see if it does it automatically. Okay, it says it's done all of the things and it should be working, but I would ask it to update the settings component as well. See the settings component and settings effect to use the correct store.select method as I pointed out above. I'm gonna now give it the folders. So this was settings.component.ts, which is this one, and then settings.effects.ts. So both of them. Let's see. There we go. This looks okay. If I save the file, I don't see errors yet, but I do see failed to compile here. So the effect is going to change, but we also probably have to update the settings HTML as well. But the actions.pipe still doesn't work. I think the actions.pipe would still be, but maybe it will fix it. I'm gonna let it go and see what happens. Because the actions.pipe is still a problem. Exactly. Use the pipe directly. It doesn't actually do that, to be honest. What did you change? Import operators from top level. That doesn't fix anything. I can say we can leave the actions to be casted, but use the store.select as it is. Let's call it like this. So we are not really putting too much burden on Gemini. Let's bring some intellect from ourselves as well. All right, let's see. Now it's going to do the in file writing, I think. Okay, so now this uses the actions.pipe with the typecasting, but when it comes to the select, it uses it correctly. So no typecasting required there. Makes sense. Now it also probably has to update the settings.component.html as well. Here, here. Okay, but we do have the errors there. What do the errors say here? We have can't bind to form group since it's not a property of form. Let's actually ask it nicely. So I'm gonna just share it. I mean, I know how to fix this issue, but I don't want to fix it myself. I'm gonna go with the plan mode first. So it would say it's going to add the reactive forms module, which should be here. So reactive forms module here. Okay, yes, do that. So move to act mode, and it should go into the module here and then add it. There we go. So we added the reactive forms module, and that should fix the issue. There we go. So compiled successfully. I think we are good to try this out, but I'm gonna let client say it's done. Okay, so it's done. Now let's try the application with the new feature that we have just added with the vibe coding. So we go here, we refresh now. I don't see any header at the moment. It may require me to log, or I may need to run it via production mode. But let's see. So we got the settings component here. We also updated the header component. I want to double check and see if that's the case. So header component got updated, and the settings button is actually here where when we are logged in. Makes sense. So that means I have to log in. So let's see. I'm gonna try to find emulator, and I'm gonna run this here as well. So let's run. I don't remember if I have Firebase emulators actually here. Well, let's try. Npm run Firebase local. Maybe I have. But it should ask me, I think, a lot of things, including the Firebase app that I have to use here. $600, okay. My camera died. Yay. Let's zoom in again. Could not open Java version. Make sure Java is installed in your system path. That's gonna be a bit tough. All right, let's not run the simulators. So I'm gonna try to ditch them. So if not gonna do it, so let's try with the app now. And now this is connected to production instead of that. So let's quickly log in. I think it should be good. And I should be able to log in. There we go. So we do have this settings icon here, if you see. And if I click this, we go to the settings page, which does not work at the moment. So let's have a look at the console here and see what does that say. It doesn't say anything. If I refresh now, it doesn't say anything at all again. So what happened? If I go back here, click here. Oh, I think I know why. I think I know. So the settings page that has been generated now has this routing module, doesn't have a route, has a component, has this here as well, but the component never got the routing set. So if I go to my app routing module here, you see that it goes towards settings and settings module, right? But inside the settings module, we don't have any routes. That's why. So we're going to start a new task and ask Gemini to fix it. When I go to the settings page, it just shows a blank screen and nothing else. Now I'm being like the regular junior developers, assuming I don't know anything. No, it's like, no, I don't know. I don't know anything. So let's see what it comes up with. So now it's trying to read the files. Component self template module definition routing configurations. Okay, let's examine the settings component. So it looked at the settings component. Then it's looking at the HTML. Good. Then it's looking at the settings module. Good. And now it's going to the routing module, which has the problem. So now it's going to try to find it. And we'll be like, aha, I've found the issue. So here you see, it's like, okay, I found the issue. Good job, Gemini. And then now I can look into what was the issue. So here we have settings routing module, and it says the route is empty, which exactly is what I said. So it's gonna modify the whole file, and it's going to add an empty route, call it, and use it to render the settings component just like this, and then it should be good. Okay. So now I can quickly go ahead and go with act. And let's make it work. So this is the file which needs to be updated. So the settings component. I'm going to save this file. The app re-renders, and I think it should just say task completed. Good. So if I go here, and if I try to go to settings, hey, let's go. So we have the settings component here. Now the issue is this doesn't have the headers up top. So if I go back, you can see the header right here, right? But if I go to settings page, it doesn't have the header. So I need to somehow render it inside the home component, or I would want to have the header outside of the home component. So it still has, we still see this on the settings page. But right now it says the focus duration is 25 and 5, right? If I go to Focusdoro, and if I try to go to Cloud Firestore, let's have a look at if it adds any, so it has some tasks here, but I don't see anything related to settings at the moment. So by default, this is the setting that we are using, right? What happens if I try to add or change the settings? If I go and say I would have a 30 minutes duration. So again, let's make it work and then make it pretty. That's the rule we are following. So now if I say 30 minutes of focus duration and 10 minutes of break, if I save the settings, does it save to Firebase? That's the question. It says saving, but does it actually do that? Oh, look at that. So permission denied. Permission denied, permission denied, permission denied on the Firebase level. Why is that so? Can we have a look? So we're gonna try this again. We're gonna go to settings and first let's ask Gemini. Permission denied when we try to save the settings to Firestore. What could be wrong, right? Let's see. And we are logged in though. So now it's checking the Firestore rules, but I don't think we have the Firestore rules correctly set actually. I'm gonna actually get the Firestore rules and set them here, to be honest. So where we were before, rules, I'm gonna copy this and I'm going to take that into the file instead. So settings, rewrite if not equals null, request ID, da, 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 da. Okay, so it's trying to do that, but I want to also add it like this. I'm going to save this file for now, but I'm going to also say, so we have the documents, right? Match any document and then it should be, yeah, I think we could also open this as well. So the tasks should only be if the user is trying to add their own. And we also had one more thing in the database that was users, right? But the users could be anything. But we save this file and then we run the command. But we also, I think we could then also add the last one. Okay, before we run the command, can we also define allow read and write for the, or for, okay, for the rest of the documents. Let's see. So now in this case, it says it's not really recommended due to security risks. But I want to say, okay, let's make it only for the users collection. Since we want to create users from the front end when the user is not logged in. Understand this is not the best way, but proceed. Okay, so I'm saying because when we create an account in Firebase, we are not really logged in, right? So at least we need the users module to be there, or to be able to create users in that regard. So let's see what this comes up now. So now in this case, it says settings is going to be like this, right? Then we have users, user ID, allow anyone to create a user, allow authenticated users to read, update, or delete their own document. This is what I would have wanted. So I like this. Then we also have example rules for a task collection, adjust as needed. I'm actually gonna quickly save this as well, and then I'm gonna run the command. So we deploy this Firebase function. All right, so the deployment is completed. Let's have a look at the deployment. Let's see if our rule came here. So yeah, so the rule came here, good. Now if I try to do the same thing, let's see what happens. So I refresh my app, open the inspector, go here, and then I say 30 and 10, and then I say save settings. I don't see the error now, so I'm assuming it's going to be fine, hopefully. Saving, saving, saving. I still don't see anything. If I go back to the data, I still don't see the settings here. So something is off. Should we try to fix it ourselves, or should we ask Gemini to fix it? Because previously it was working. So if I go to settings, component TS, we do have this guy right here, right? So if I refresh now, I say 30 and I say 10, I say save settings, it comes here, it says it's valid, it takes in the settings, so takes all those values, and then it dispatches the action that says save user settings, and then it passes the settings here. Then we go to settings dot, I think the effects are not really registered. See, I don't really see the effects file at all. So the effect is not registered. I click save settings, nothing happens because the effect is not registered at all. So yeah, let's ask Gemini. When I press what was the button called? Save settings. When I press the save settings button in settings.component.ts, I see the saving text on the button, but nothing happens. We can also say that there is no record created in the Firestore as well. I want it to figure out what's wrong. And from what I know, the effect is not being registered. So we need to have this module here. We need to set the store and the effect as well, or at least here. So when we have the effect here, setting effects, it should be added somewhere. You see, it's not being used anywhere. So let's see. Let's see if Google Gemini can reach this the same problem. Now it's going to see the settings reducer. Makes sense. So it's looking now auth effects. If it cannot find it, then I'm going to ask it to see if it's provided somewhere. Okay, so this has a plan. So here it says implement auth state synchronization, create an effect that listens to, auth state when the auth state changes. Okay, I don't think that's accurate. I'm gonna just give it a hint. I think the effect is not even being triggered. Let's see if Gemini can reach there with minimal hint. Effect classes need to be registered in an Angular module using effect module.for feature or for root. Good. Now here it says you hit the nail on the head. Like, poof. Okay, so yes, settings module doesn't import effects module from this, and here we have registering this. Revised plan is setting this effect should be registered. Then implement auth state synchronization is still recommended. Okay, so after fixing the registration, the save settings effect will run, but it will likely still fail silent if the user ID is in the store due to the missing auth state synchronization and auth effects. Therefore, we should still implement the logic of auth effects to listen to Angular file auth state and dispatch auth action. Okay, this makes sense. Maybe, and this is something I've missed completely. So, okay, the primary issue is that shall we proceed with step 1? Please toggle to act mode. Yes. All right, so let's do that. And one of the things that I've not done in this video is that whenever I am at a state where things work, I actually commit my code, which I've not done yet. Or I at least stage the changes to the last sort of checkpoint that actually worked for me. So that's really important as well. But we're going to go do it soon. So we added the effects here. At least the effects would trigger now, since the action was being triggered, but the effect was not catching that action. So now we have this in the auth effects. So whenever there's a change in the auth state, we essentially say auth state updated, and then we pass the user. iUser.null. Why do we have an iUser here? Maybe we don't really need an iUser. Why do we have an iUser? Aha, because of, okay. Because of the task item. That makes sense. Yes. And this needs to be imported as well. So it's going to probably import it in the next pass. So we get the Firebase user, and then we add the tasks as well. There we go. Good, 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 good. Righty, let's see. We have now the settings effect in place. It says the task is completed. So let's try this out now. So we're going to go to our application now. We're going to look into here and see if anything changes. I'm going to first refresh and see when the page gets loaded, do we already have some settings that are saved? No, not yet. Now if I go here and change this, let's say this and 10, I'm also going to try to find the file as well. So if I hit save settings, it comes here, comes here, comes here, and then it tries to dispatch this action with the settings. So both the values 10 and 30. Now I'm going to try to go to settings.fx. Now you can see the file is here, which means that the file got registered. Settings.fx.ts. And that means it's going to come here to this place, actually. And then save user settings, right? Success. Okay. So if I hit play now, it's going to come here. So we come with the user ID. We come with the action here. The action says save user ID, settings is here, all of that. Now if I hit play, it comes back now with the action.settings, and it's a success. So if I hit play now, it's done. We don't show a toast here, but it's done. If I go to Focusdoro now, and maybe, is there a reload button here? There used to be a reload button before. Or maybe they changed it. If I hit reload, do I have the settings now? Hey, let's go. Nice. So we have this right here, and we have this settings here. Now I don't really know if this is aligned with the user or not, but if I refresh the page, I should actually get this value back as well. If I refresh now, I don't get it. It's still 25 and 5, which means something is wrong, or the logic is wrong. So if I go back here, permission denied. Why is it the permission denied though? I think it tries to get the data before, or it tries to get the tasks before it's logged in. That could be it. And one of the things that I think should be is I start a new task and I'll say the settings are not being saved with the user's ID and hence not retrieved with the user's ID when we go to the settings page. So we need to address this issue. That's the first thing. Another issue, let's fix one thing at a time. So I'm going to go to plan mode and let's quickly go there. Ooh, I have to go pretty soon. The setting service looks correct. It takes the user ID as an argument, uses it to fetch the safe settings in the Firestore. This suggests the issue might be in how the service is being used. The user ID might not be correctly passed to the service methods when the actions are dispatched. Okay, that could be the case. The settings effects also appear to be correctly implemented. It triggers the loading settings when the select user ID. Okay, that suggests the problem might lie somewhere else. Select user ID correctly implemented. Let's check. Okay, it's correctly implemented as well. Chain of actions also seems correct. Same for loading as well. More subtle. Okay. But the problem is the data that we are saving with, how do we get it back? Okay, so it found some issue. It says take one. This might be the issue. Load settings on auth ready. Aha. Okay, this could be. So we do a take one to remove the take one. Okay, that makes sense. Da, 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 da. Okay. Yes, I agree with the plan. So the take one is the culprit. Makes sense. Good. So we removed the take one here, and that's pretty much it. So it, because the first time it would be not logged in, and then it tries to fetch the data, which it probably cannot, and then the next time it should be able to do it. I hope. So if I refresh now, does it do it? Not really. So if I go to Focusdoro, and if I see the collection, I also try to see the user as well. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna double check the users. So we have the users here. Judge 53. Okay. Okay, so I double checked here, and we do have the same user for this as well. So I think this should be okay. But it does not really get back the data. Okay, let's say I'm gonna see if I have the Redux extension. I don't. So Redux DevTools. I want to see the DevTools, so we can essentially see what data is coming back. So we come here, close this guy, open it again, go here, open Redux, refresh. There we go. So now we close this. So if we go to state, we have the settings, we have the focus duration here, we have the break duration here. The input doesn't get filled. That's the issue. Okay. So maybe we can talk about that. So I see the Redux state gets the Firestore data correctly. However, the settings input elements still show the default values. I want to see how this plans and executes this. Once this is done, I want to see, I want to go to the homepage stuff and ensure that when we get the Firestore data, we are already logged in, and we send a logged in request. Exactly. So we are using first where? In the settings component? Here, that's the issue. And here, that's the issue as well. We could actually, to be honest, we could also say skip one, to be honest. But yeah, this would also work. I think it's fine. All right, so let's have a look at the component now. There we go. So if I refresh now, you can see it was 25 before, but as soon as we get the data, we essentially change this to 5. Okay, good. Okay, there we go. So now we have the data coming back as well. Now what I want to do is to go home, and here if I refresh now, we'll see the permissions error, right? So here we have the permissions denied. This is what we are going to do again. But before we do so, let's actually commit the code because it has been a while. So we're gonna say git checkout b feed settings, and then we say we try to review quickly all the things that we've done. So we have added some rules, we have updated some packages. I don't think we should have the NX folder there, so we should have NX as well. So we ignore that, and yeah, let's quickly see the others. So add, not add everything, but add this guy, this guy, this guy, yarn lock. We added some things in the routings, add that component. I don't want to add the component at the moment. Setting service. I'll also clean up stuff as we go, so we don't have like unused imports in all the places. Routing module makes sense. Component CSS, HTML of this settings component. I think it's fine. This one, yeah, we use a bunch of things that we have a bunch of things that we don't really use. Let's remove that. We add this, and then we have settings module. Makes sense. Clock component. I'm gonna remove the comment. We don't need it. We also use this thing here. We're gonna remove it as well. Let's see the other things. I think that's fine. Let's go to index.js. We added a bunch of things in here as well, in the auth component, or Gemini did. I don't really want to add those things. Of type, gonna remove it for now. Auth selectors, probably fine. Setting actions, probably fine as well. Settings effect, gonna remove all of this. Nothing more. There we go. Settings reducer seems okay. Settings selector, not too bad. And just config ts. I have no clue why we got this added. Puff. Okay, so we have all those things, right? So git commit feed settings, or we can say feed Focusdoro add settings page. Okay, so we have committed that, right? Now we can go ahead and say the error that we were getting. So this. We're gonna try to explain it in the best way possible. So here we can say we're getting the following error. When we land on the home page, it seems like we may be trying to get, and now I'm not really being a junior developer at the moment. I'm actually explaining as I should. So it seems like we may be trying to get the tasks from Firestore before we are authenticated, or we have auth ready from Firebase. Let's fix that. And I'm gonna go in the plan mode. To be honest, so far what I've experienced from Gemini, I think is really good. So compared to what I've seen before, like Gemini 1.0 Pro or 1.5 Pro even, I think the 2.5 Pro is really, really interesting, and it does the job. I can actually rely on this because I've I've had similar experience before, majorly with, I think, sometimes with OpenAI, but not really as good. But I've had good experiences with Claude, for example. But if I have this, I can actually probably get rid of my Claude subscription as well because I don't use it as much anyways. All right, let's see. One of the things that I keep seeing from Klein is that it gets some response and then it says, no, 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 I should have used the plan mode, but you are using the plan mode. See, I should have used the plan mode respond tool to present the plan. I don't know what's wrong with Klein in this manner. All right, based on the files we have explained, task effect yes, likely cause of permission denied. Error is that the load task action attempts to fetch Firebase data immediately after auth state updated. Action fires, but before Firebase has fully established the authenticated session readiness for database operations. That makes sense. The select auth ready selected in the auth selector seems designed to track the readiness state. Yes, that's what I created it for. So plan is injecting the store in the constructor of task effect. Makes sense. Then import selectors and operators, of course. Then modify the load task effect to wait, I think, from. So with latest from, get the current value of the select auth ready. Good. And then trigger the load task action. Good, good, good. This will ensure the task fetching only occurs when the user is authenticated and Firebase signals are ready. I like the plan. So let's have a look at the error at the moment, and we are going to then obviously look into if this gets fixed. So if I refresh now, you're going to see that I don't see my tasks. And that is because we get this permission denied. And as I mentioned, that we're probably trying to get it before we have the authentication ready. And now we have set the rules in Firestore that we only allow the tasks to be fetched when we have the authentication ready. So here you can see, yeah, we need that. So once we have this, then we can go forward from here. So now we're going to go back to our code editor and let's switch to act mode. And in the meantime, we just wipe, as they say. All right. Let's save this. I want to see if something is wrong here. So we do have the actions pipe here as well. I think this was exactly what the file was before, but it's probably going to adjust it as well. Exactly, store.select and not pipe. Good. This might have to be casted as we did before. I don't really know about that, to be honest. These versions are generally compatible. The persistent TypeScript error suggests that pipe doesn't exist on actions, which is an observable, strongly point towards the potentially corrupted dependencies. If this fixes the issue, I'm going to be actually really happy, right? But because I did that before, so not really sure. Well, what's the harm in trying this again? So I'm going to stop my server now and run the command. No such file or directory, of course. Okay, I'm going to run my server again. The fun part is that this only shows within the ESLint, or is it TSLint? It's TSLint, but it doesn't really show in here. So I'm gonna ask it actually. Let's see. The error with .pipe in task.effects.ts only seems to be in the editor linting because the app compiles fine. Try figuring out the issue and let's solve it. Okay, so I'm asking it at least to give it a try because this is super annoying. Alrighty, so in here, if I try to refresh now, does that work? Let's see. No, it doesn't. So we still have the issue. Permission denied. Is the permission denied because we have... So here it says request.auth should not be null and the request.auth UID should be resource.data.userid. Now when we go to the tasks itself, we do have the user ID here. So the rule is actually fine. Why then do we get this error? That's a fun problem to solve. All right, so let's see with the ESLint error first. Okay, I reviewed it. The configuration is extending all files and override secretary. Revise plan. Modify ESLint to remove the ignored patterns from the root level of the configuration file. File ignoring simply handled by a separate ESLint ignore. Okay, let's try that. Save it. Do I have a bunch of errors now? Okay. Client has a question. Could you please reload the VS Code window? Okay. So I'm gonna try to do restart extension host. I'm not really sure if client is gonna be dead for this. Maybe, or we'll see. But I want to go to the task.effects.ts and see if the error still seems to be there. It still is. I'm gonna say no. No, we still have this. Let's see. Something definitely changed, but not what we expected. If I try to do it something like this dot actions dot, and then we have lift. What is the type of the actions here? It's actually extending the observable, but why does it not? If it extends an observable, it should have pipe actually. Okay, let's see. So I remove the ignore patterns line from this. This is. But did I send the message or no? I can't really click here. Why is that so? I think because I broke the extension. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this again. Client, open new tab. We go back here and then we say error is still there. The error is still there. Let's see. Do I want to restart fully VS Code? Okay, I'll leave it for now. I'll leave it for now. Let's not go there. So client, open new tab. And now what I wanted to do was this, right? So I still want to say, let's see. We still have the issue when the user goes to the home page and probably tries to get tasks. Can we confirm they only happen after the auth state is ready? So while this is happening, I'm gonna actually try to see it myself. So if I go to Redux and if I refresh now, you're gonna see that it goes and says auth state updated, then it loads the tasks, and then it says empty, right? Now, why does it say permission denied? And it says it in the task effects.ts when it comes here. So that means when we go here, even in that case, we probably are not really sending with the data. So if I do a merge map here, play this, then we have get collection. I'm gonna close this. Close it. Then we have this guy. So we're trying to get the collection. We are saying collection string. Oh, but we don't have the tasks here. I think this is not correct. We have the tasks actually, and then this. But should we have users slash task? We could actually have that. Okay, so then I know what's wrong. But let's see if it finds it out. One thing I checked is for getting users tasks, we have the collection string like this. However, when we save the tasks, they are saved in, but maybe saved in tasks, and then we have the user ID, right? Which approach is better? Use that consistently. Let's see. Yes. Okay, it should automatically be doing it and not me changing it. Let's see. But I'm not really sure. Is it stuck? No. Resume task. Okay. Exactly. So revised plan is standardized on the task collection. We'll modify the code to consistently use root task collection. There we go. Load tasks. Okay. Modify task effects. Yeah, I think that we can go with. And also we'll have the Firebase rules updated as well, I think. Is that in the plans as well? I hope it is. Save the file. Not really. It still seems like something went wrong. So it's gonna fix it. Save it. Do we have some issues? I think that's fine. Oh, failed to compile. That's not good. Why do we have to change significantly all of these things? I think just the tasks should be updated, but not everything. I think this is much better. Hmm. I don't know what it's trying to do. Let's see. I think when we save the file, it just changes it back. Okay. We're going to see if that fixes it. But maybe we should add a path in that case. Do we have something in here that we have the path set it? I would say save and check if the alias exists in any of the TS config files. Let's fix that as well. There is no such directory, I think. We do have libs. Restart TS server. Let's see. Okay, let me see if the build is successful. It says failed to compile, so that's not successful. So we go here and we try to look at the effect. So this one, update task, what does it say? If I save this file, observable iTask item null is not assigned, unable to type effect result. What does this send back? Update doc. Okay, let's take a step back and see if this fixes it. What have we changed? A lot. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is compiled successfully now. Let's try this out now. So if I go back to my application, if I try to refresh now, it goes inside here. It should come here now. No errors so far. Now it's gonna use cloud or not. So we have the user, we use the cloud. This does user ID, gets the user UID. Then if we don't have the ID, then we get an error. Otherwise, we try to get the collections. So after we have had this here, we should get the tasks, but we still get this Firebase missing error. Why so? Is that because the Firestore rules are not deployed correctly? Let's see. If do we have any changes in the Firestore rules? Tasks, then we have task ID. And then we have request auth UID equals I think it should be actually user ID, I think. And it should here also say user ID. I think so. Let's do the Firebase deploy thingy. So here, Firebase deploy only Firestore rules. Let's try this again. So we try to come here, we go here, we come here, and then it says permission denied. Let's double check the rules here as well. So we have here tasks user ID, and if the request.auth.uid is this, is the same as the user ID. And we do have tasks here that have the ID as the user ID. This doesn't make sense. This does not make sense. If I go to users, and if I go to this user, we do have tasks here. Okay, so then we have a problem. So this guy should never be there. Tasks. Let's delete that. Okay, so we should have a situation where in here, I think we can't really have all of this at all. So we app component. No, I think all this did was okay. I'm gonna discard the changes. Don't want all of this. Firestore rules. This here as well should be, I think, users and users ID. And then when it comes to users, users ID and tasks, it should only be possible when we have this done. Let's run this again. I'm gonna have to deploy this. So let's try this. So we have this guy having the tasks, and these are the tasks, right? If I go here now and let's try to refresh this, play, and now we see permission denied, and then we should have here as well. So I'm gonna hit play. So we have core MJS and missing or insufficient permissions. Let's see, XHR, response, target change, Here we're trying to say remove. Add. Okay. Hmm. How do we? Okay. Let's check this, and then also let's check the task.effects.ts. And here we say collection string. So we can debug it and see what happens. So we go load tasks and then we go here. So refresh, goes here, create task. Why does it come here though? Remove task. Okay, so it comes to load task. In here, the collection string becomes users slash this ID slash task. Okay, makes sense. And that causes us the issue. And my camera died. Okay, let's try to end this pretty soon. Click this. Let's ask Gemini again. So we're gonna use something similar. So we're getting the following error. Da, 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 da. Let's start with this same thing. Getting the error probably because we try to execute load tasks on home page before the auth is ready. Let's see. And let's zoom in a bit as well. Da, 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 da. Mm-hmm. Okay, so checking the Firestore rules. Close the others. Let's see. I think the rules should be fine, to be honest. Okay, that confirms what? Okay. Authentication user whose ID matches the path to redirect. Exactly. To fix this, we'll modify the task, store, inject the build address from to load tasks. Okay, select user, filter, and all of that. Okay. Let's go with implementing it. The only issue that I have with this approach is that it tries to add a Firebase service here for tasks. Or it was already there before, but I think with latest from has the same issue, but it's gonna fix it itself, I think. Okay, so it says it has fixed the issue. Let's have a look at this if that's true actually. So it comes here, set collection string, comes here, gets the collection string, and then it says load tasks. And then we have the user ID with the user UUID. It goes inside here. And I'm gonna hit play. Comes here. And we still have the same issue. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. I want to refresh again. Let's see what happens. So in this case, it does come here. Then, not here, actually here. I'm not going to be here as well. Now it says set collection string user ID. Okay. It goes there and then it tries to say collection string, which is user slash the ID of the user and then the tasks. At this particular point, I should have my user authenticated actually, because we should have the user here automatically, right? But when I send it, it still says Firebase error. Why though? Why though? Why though? Missing or insufficient permissions. Let's have a look at the rules again. Mm-mm-mm. I think this should be fine. But why? Does it not send the correct payload? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Target change type remove. Doesn't work still. I see in network call. Hmm. Hmm. Is it something wrong with my service? Interesting. So what does it do? Even though this it takes one for a short-lived listener. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. But we have some errors. Hmm. I'm a bit confused about the implementation right now. Mehdi says, I think AI में जाना है safe option बच गया है opinions. because of the vibe coding and all. What do you think? I think using AI is important. The field AI, that's a different topic. If you really want to go and go into the depth of the AI as a field, that's a different topic. So it really depends, to be honest. Okay, what's the problem here? I'm gonna try to understand. So here we have parameter action. Okay, I'm gonna restart the server. So let's have a look at what the issue is. Task.effects.ts, that's the one. Cannot find name merge map. And then we are using merge map. Of course, that's gonna be fun. So let's do it like this. Save this. Now we have duplicate injectables. Great. Injectable is here. We should already have that somewhere else as well. Here we have it. There we have. So compile successfully. Let's see. We still have the error. Something is definitely fishy here. Let's see. So we got data. We got users, this, and then we have tasks. Is it that we should have tasks and then anything? Because otherwise, I think that it could be doesn't work still. Let's see. If I wanted to ask it, could it be that in firestore.rules we need to say I don't know. I'm just speculating at the moment. But I replied already. Did you hear my response? Or no? Do let me know if you did not hear my response. Okay, thanks for the feedback and suggestion regarding the rules. The current line, The rule applies to entire task collection. The specific user allow read part should grant permission, blah, blah, blah. Since the error persists, even specifically collection snapshot, the function used to get identity plan. But I think that's probably not the issue. Then we also have two injectables here. Why do we have two injectables here? I still think the authentication state might not be ready. It could be. Or it's with the permissions. So let's say we go with the permissions thing and we remove the permissions stuff. So we say allow and read, right, if I think it's called true, right? So we publish this just for the sake of testing. Then I go and refresh here. And let's see if I do it like this. It still says this. But then is it me taking the user? What? Error loading clouds, loading tasks from crowd. Mm-hmm. Hmm. It goes to the get collection in here, right? Okay. So if it has this, then it goes to get the Firestore, and then it does a collections path. Okay. It takes one, and then it tries the data. Hmm. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. I hope this doesn't break all of my previous stuff. Let's see. Let's save this. So it compiles successfully at the moment. Let's try this out. No, doesn't fix it. The issue is still that it takes quite a lot of time. I'm gonna try something actually. Let's do it like this. So we have task effects that uses load task, right? With latest from filter, right? And then I'm gonna also add a debounce time, and we'll say 3000, right? And I want to add this from RxJS. So here, say debounce time, and let's save this. I want to see now. Okay, so it doesn't get it. So first it says permission denied here. And why does this come? Okay, I'm gonna go to Redux as well and see what happens. So let's refresh. So load tasks, it automatically registers it, and then it gets the data. So it comes to load task here. Then it says load tasks. Then it says select user. I think it should actually be door. Let's see. I'm gonna refresh now. Permission denied. That's fine. Then it comes here and then use cloud, and then you say use cloud, and then we have a debounce time, and then we have all this. So when I come here, I'm hoping I don't. So I come here, debounce time, and I save it, and then I go here and say pup, remove that. So I haven't even come here, but then it gives me this error. What? Why? I'm gonna try this again. So we make first call, Then this is the second call which is causing the issue. Query, structured query, collection tasks. So it sends the collection task directly. Where is this going from? The parent is this one. Okay. Okay, I want to see tasks. Where am I sending this call from? So tasks. Home component has this select tasks list, and then it does it like this. Then task change, it doesn't matter. Okay, home module task component from here. Task component doesn't have anything. Task action, load task success, load task. Task effect is this one. We come here, close it. Okay, so then we say action on load task success list action task. That's fine. Then we come here. We have this collection string. Okay, and come here. Okay. Then we come here. Then we come here. Then we come here. Hmm. I'm not really sure, to be honest. We got settings. We got users ID, user ID. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't have any mistakes here. Allowing read and write is actually done here. Firebase warning set at clocks. Failed, permission denied. Where do we go with this clocks thingy? Where do we set this clock? Oh, here, share clock component. Why do we have this? Why do we have this? I think this is causing the issue. Let's see. Shared clock, and then this is okay. So we have clocks and current user ID as well. That's a problem, I think. So let's see. We change this. Then we also go ahead and say clocks dot user ID, and then we publish it. Let's see. If I now go, the warning should be gone. Hopefully. Mm, we have clocks slash user ID. When we have the request auth user ID same as user ID. Okay. If true, for example, let's see and publish. No, it doesn't really fix it. But we don't have any clocks at the moment at all. Even if I share it, I think if I share it, it says permission denied. So I can't really even add it when I have this situation. If I develop and test, let's see. I don't really know what could be wrong. If I clear the site data, let's try this again. I'm going to try to log in again. So log in. I would be really sad if that's the issue. If I refresh now, okay, so at least that's not the issue. Hmm. Hmm. I'm going to comment this out for now. So this is ng on init. We check if this is shared. So we don't do that. So we refresh now. So no issues here, right? And that is the check shared is the issue. So we got rid of at least one thing. And then the only thing is this insufficient permissions for the second thing now. Now, if I go to Firestore rules, I have to use the same thing as we have here. I'm going to go to here and I'm going to try the same thing. Let's see. Are these rules correct? Even after being authenticated, can't access users' tasks. I want to see what this comes up with. And that's the same model, by the way, that a client is using, I think. So here we go with settings, then we go with users, user ID, then we go inside the match. Aha, here. Okay. I think in here we should have for clocks, read is for everyone, write can be just by owner. So we at least tell that. Let's see. Okay, so let's try this out. So I'm gonna copy this, paste it here, remove this part, remove this part as well, save this, and we are going to deploy it now. So we say Firebase deploy only Firestore rules. All right, let's see now. So if I go back to my store rules, refresh now, we should have new rules deployed now. Da, 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 da. All right, so we have now. So when we were defining the user's ID, we should have gone from here and not the other side. That was the issue. Now if I refresh now, hey, let's go, finally. So we do implement the rules properly. Good. So I'm gonna. Did we hear that correctly? Okay. So this is good. Now if I try to go and say remove this now, and also we changed a couple of things. So we did go to home component and we did change this. So I'm gonna revert this now. So once we go here, we have the permission denied is still coming for this, at least for clocks in this case. So what do we have here that doesn't really work? So we don't do, we should do this once we have the shared information, but we try to get it here, right? So we do get database, and the read here should actually be fine. So allow read if true and write if we do it like this, which doesn't, which should actually work. But okay. All right, one more thing that we'll do is debounce time that we added before. We should not have it, and we should look it just like this. So we refresh, get the user, and then we get this. Firestore rules. So we got clocks and user ID, and this is outside of the users here. Okay. Mm-hmm. But if there's no user, then we don't do it. If I share this and hit share, it also says permission denied. Let's see if I can give it a picture and then it understands it. So we copy clipboard and then we say this. Still getting errors for clock. Let's see. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, we should be checking if the user is logged in before it runs. Now we get the auth and then we set the user as well. If we don't have the current user, then we just do return null. If we do have the user, so we save this. Let's see. Console.log. So here we do have current user dot current user dot uid, and we say question mark. So we do get the current user in this case, so let's keep it like this. But then when we try to get the ref, then we have a problem, and then we say confirm share. Confirm share, what does that do? Then we try to write it as well, and then we set it. That's why. What if I try to do this? Let's see. So we don't get any error when we try to do this. So I don't know, whatever we are doing here, we should probably not be doing that. But let's see. So if we do confirm share, then we try to add it to clocks / current user uid. Then we try to add this, and then it doesn't really work. Should it be, I don't know, clocks? Let's see. We say share. Not really, no. Even when it comes to getting the clocks, get database, I don't know. Should it rather be const doc equals get doc? The TypeScript extension or server doesn't really work. I'm gonna restart the extensions as well. Restart extension host. Now it doesn't show that error. Why? If I confirm share here now we get the error. So set at clocks permission denied, right? But getting is not an issue, I'm assuming. And if we go to home.component.ts and we go here, we should be able to get current user is here. We have the UUID here, and we are saying clocks UUID. When we go here, it should say docref, but keys here, parent should be here as well. Okay, then let's have a look at this. So we go here, we try to go here, come here, go inside the component, we get the shared URL, go up, not there actually. Shared clock component and update shared clock, which is right here. So we come here, then it says clocks, the current user UID, tries to get that, docref again, the key is the same, but then when it tries to do this, then it fails. To the docref, it's trying to add this clock. And here we go. Okay, I'm gonna comment this out for now, so we can have a look at that later. But let's move towards the final thing, and then we can wrap it up. So now if I try to look into the data here, we can say 30 and then 10 and then save this. And then I can refresh and I can get my data. Then if I go home, you can see that now the focus time was first 25, sorry, 30, but then it changed back. If I go here now, it changes back. Why does it change back? Okay, let's try to look into this. So I go to my Firestore database, and then I have a look at settings. Here it says 10 and 30, right? Here it says tasks, settings, 10:30. But here, if I refresh now, go to Redux, default was 25 to 5. This is 10:30. Something is fishy. 10:30 is here. Okay. If I go back to my page, refresh here now. Now it doesn't really load my settings. That's the problem. So the load settings should still be there. Settings dot module is here. Okay. Now I think I understand. But anyways, what I'll do is I'll have to wrap up now because it has been quite a while. So thank you everyone who joined, and I'm going to see you next time. I'm going to go sleep, most likely. And there we go.